Have you ever listened to someone speak and it sounds like a series of robotic facts? Something like, I woke up, I was tired, I drank coffee, I felt better. I mean, it gets the point across, sure, but it's super choppy. It completely lacks flow. It lacks a story. When we speak like that, we actually risk losing our listeners' attention entirely, mostly because human brains don't just want raw data, they want connection. So I have to ask, what actually holds the English language together? What transforms a disjointed pile of information into a smooth, expressive river of thought? How do native speakers effortlessly weave their ideas into one continuous thought that builds trust and just keeps you hooked?
The answer, my friends, is conjunctions. Directly from our source, conjunctions are words that join two parts of a sentence. They help to show the clear connection between those two parts. Honestly, think of them as the ultimate grammatical glue. They're the sticky substance that allows us to build fluid, expressive communication. Without them, we're just stacking loose bricks, kind of hoping the listener can figure out the shape we're trying to build. But with them, we're building a solid, beautiful wall where every single piece has a clear structural purpose.
Here is our quick roadmap for today. We'll look at the glue of English, basic joiners, cause and effect, time travel, conditional situations, and finally, the true power of connection.
Okay, let's dive into section 1, the glue of English, and see exactly how these connectors work mechanically. I want you to visualize this like a simple building block approach, or almost like a math formula. Step 1, you have your first complete thought, sentence part 1. Step 3 is your second thought, sentence part 2. And sitting right there in the middle, at step 2, is your conjunction glue. It sits right at the seam, holding the two ideas together and telling the listener exactly how they relate to one another. Imagine you have two separate islands of thought. Without a bridge, your listener has to, well, jump across the gap themselves, and they might just fall into confusion. The glue does the work for them. It builds a sturdy bridge between those islands so the conversation can just keep moving forward. Moving right along to section 2, basic joiners. These are your foundational tools for adding and contrasting. Take a look at the word and. Kate is a student, and she works part-time. We use and to smoothly attach extra information in the second half of the sentence. Notice how perfectly it functions in casual speech. We don't have to awkwardly stop, take a breath, and start a brand new sentence just to tell someone that Kate works. We just dab a little bit of our and glue, and the extra information is attached seamlessly. It makes the speaker sound relaxed, intelligent, and just in total control of the narrative. Now, what's really fascinating here is contrasting the function of but against the options provided by or. Think about but for a second. They are rich, but they aren't happy. We use but when the second part of the sentence contrasts with the first part. It's essentially the glue of surprise or exception. You intuitively expect rich people to be happy, right? So the second half changes direction entirely, keeping the listener on their toes. On the other hand, or gives us choices. You can pay by credit card or cash. We use or when the second part of the sentence gives a completely different possibility. Let's shift gears to section 3, cause and effect connectors, specifically because and so. Let's think about the psychological weight of the word because. We went home early because we were tired. Here, because is the glue that explains exactly why the first part of the sentence happened. If you just state, we went home early, your listener is naturally left wondering, well, why? Human beings absolutely crave reasons. When you drop in because, you seamlessly attach that reason, immediately satisfying their curiosity. The second part of the sentence shines a bright light on the motivation for the first part, and that actually builds understanding and trust between you and whoever you're talking to. And this brilliantly illustrates the flip side of cause and effect using the word so. I felt ill, so I didn't go to work. Notice how so functions here. We use it when the second part of the sentence gives a direct result of the first part. While because looks backward at the reason, so pushes the logic forward to the outcome. You felt ill, okay, what was the result of that? So you didn't go to work. It keeps your narrative moving in a perfectly logical direction, ensuring your listener is always right there following your train of thought. All right, section 4, traveling through time. This is where we look at when, before, and after. I want to guide you through this little timeline to unconventionally map out how this works, especially with the word after. Let's say at 7 p.m., you finish watching a movie. At 9 p.m., you go eat a meal. Now it's 9:05 p.m., and you're telling a friend about your evening. You say, we went for a meal after we had seen the film. Grammatically, this is wild. You're saying the second event, the meal, first in your sentence.
and you use the glue after to show that the second part of the sentence actually happened first in real time. You are literally bending chronological time to fit your conversational flow, all without losing your listener's comprehension. How cool is that? Let's quickly summarize these 3 time-traveling connectors straight from our source material so we can really digest them. First up, when. I went to the party when the babysitter arrived. This is used to say exactly when that first part happened. They basically occurred at the same time. Next is before. We left before it started to rain. This glue shows the first action, leaving, happened first. And finally, as we just discussed, after. We went for a meal after we had seen the film. This glue shows the second part of the sentence actually happened first in reality. These are incredibly precise language tools at your disposal to paint an exact, vivid picture in someone's mind.
Moving into Section 5, conditional situations, focusing entirely on the word if. Consider this classic scenario. You can have some ice cream if you eat your dinner. So the absolute crucial point here is this. The first part of the sentence, having ice cream, will only happen after the second part, eating dinner, actually happens. And here's the kicker. It might not happen at all. If the dinner isn't eaten, well, the ice cream isn't served. The word if creates a conditional bridge. The first part relies entirely on the second part coming true. It introduces a level of complexity and dependency that is just essential for negotiating, making plans, or honestly just navigating daily life. Now, beyond the main conjunctions, our source material highlights a few other highly useful connecting words that just add so much rich flavor to our speech. We use only to say something is not very big or much, like, he only sleeps for 3 hours. We use like to make a quick, vivid comparison, such as, she looks like her father. We use than right after a comparative, allowing us to weigh 2 things against each other. She works harder than he does. And finally, words like also, to, and as well are fantastic for saying something is extra, like he works in the shop and she does too. These aren't just minor details, guys. They are the exact nuances that make you sound incredibly natural and articulate.
And that brings us to Section 6, the power of connection. Let's see how this all builds together.
Let's review our master list of the conjunctions we've covered today. And gives extra information, but provides contrast, or gives a different possibility, because explains why, so gives a result, and if sets up a conditional reality. Why does this actually matter? I mean, why take the time to focus on these tiny, seemingly invisible words? Because mastering these specific connectors is the exact difference between speaking in broken, staccato English and achieving natural, confident fluency. It allows your complex, highly intelligent thoughts to map directly to your words without losing the sophisticated relationships between your ideas. Ultimately, it makes people genuinely want to listen to you.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer. I want to leave you with a bit of a challenge. What ideas will you glue together today? The next time you're having a conversation, writing an email, or even just thinking to yourself, I want you to actively listen for these conjunctions. Challenge yourself to use because instead of stopping and starting a new sentence. Use but to throw an unexpected twist into your story. Take these conversational tools, apply them to your daily communication, and just watch how smoothly your ideas begin to flow. Until next time, keep learning, keep connecting, and I'll see you in the next explainer.